Hello, Potato, and welcome to Weekend Magic for December the 2nd, 2023. We are now officially in the last month of the year. So lots of stuff going on. We've got, of course, yesterday we saw, or technically kind of Thursday at midnight, we saw the release of the first expansion to Lorcana, the trading card game. And I'm going to say we did not have the success on that we had on the initial release. We didn't get any boosters or gift boxes, but we did manage to get orders in for the 2 new starter decks. So we'll probably look at those and maybe open those boosters at some point in the future. And I believe they announced they would be doing a second release of the original Lorcana set, the one that sold out instantly and was being sold for obnoxious prices at SAC Anime, on I think the 22nd, so way too late to get your orders in for Christmas, but they're coming back, so don't be rushing out there to buy them from resellers just yet. I mean, assuming you didn't already do so. We also this week saw the release, of course, a bunch of new Lego, so not a bunch, a few new Lego sets, including the Natural History Museum, which is one I definitely do want to get. And of course, right here on Void of Intelligence, we did start yesterday our annual Advent Adventure with 4 Advent calendars, Lego Marvel, Disney Dorable, and a couple of 12-day boozy calendars. And look, this is what we got on day 1. We got Anna, and we got Iron Man. So yeah, that's a lot of fun, and there are Christmas spirits in each episode as we open the alcohol calendars as dictated by the Mystical Magical Decision coin. It tells me which thing I drink each day. So yeah, if you're interested in that, maybe the algorithm has brought you to this video because of the pins, and you are interested in watching somebody open Advent calendars so you don't have to, that playlist has been started, and you can go and watch every day up until Christmas. I mean, Christmas Day we'll do a thing on Christmas Day, but it just won't be Advent calendars because there's no 25th day. Last year we did have a 25th day on our Droid Factory Advent calendar, but this year that is not a thing. But we will have a thing for Christmas Day because if nothing else, you have to have Christmas tacos. But the main focus of this week's video, as you could tell from the title of the video or the thumbnail or the fact that the Disney Decades board is here, is pins. So yeah, last week I believe it was, the final release of Disney Decades came out, and it was pretty much just as disappointing as most of the rest of the series has been. But we ordered the pin. We'll look at that today. Plus we have a whole bunch of other pins. We've acquired way too many pins actually to look at. Various sizes. We got some Star Wars, we got some Marvel, we got some D23 stuff in here, we got Christmas stuff, we got Thanksgiving stuff, we've even got some just plain old Mickey stuff. Because in all of the hubbub of the last few weeks, Disney sort of skirted over the fact that Mickey Mouse turned 95 this year. I mean, 5 years ago, 2018, Mickey's 90th, big celebration, had the Mickey Mouse memories, had all sorts of pins and stuff for that. For the 95th, not so much. We had a few things though, and we did buy some pins, so we'll look at those. But yeah, let's go down there and start looking at these pins because there are way too many pins to look at today. So we'll start today off with our physically largest, not necessarily individual pin, but certainly largest presentation, and that is our D23 The Marvels pin, limited edition of 750. And yep, they are all double pin back. I had to order these. I still haven't seen the movie. I know. I need to go see the movie. I would really like to see it in theaters, but realistically, I probably will end up just watching it on Disney Plus. But I really would like to go see it in the theaters. Just, things are a little hectic this month, and just may not make it there. But plus money, Movie theaters like to get paid. It's weird. They're weird like that. But we did order the D23 Marvels pins. We've got the logos for Photon, Captain Marvel, and Miss Marvel, and they are a lot bigger than I thought they were going to be. I kind of thought the set was just overpriced because it's such a small edition and it's D23, and unfortunately they didn't ship them great. It is a little The card's a little messed up here, but those pins are like really big. Those are like humongous pins and very, very shiny. Photon in particular, I think, is very shiny, like lots of mirror surface there. Like you can probably see the reflection of the light on screen there. I mean, they're fairly straightforward. D23 pins don't seem to be terribly fancy in their construction. There doesn't generally seem to be a lot of like pin on pin or motion or anything like that, but they're usually really nice for what they are. They're plain, but they're nice and they're effective and they do what they're supposed to do. And I like this set. I like all three of those characters. I mean, we didn't really see much of Photon in action in WandaVision, but I found her enjoyable all the same, and I certainly enjoyed Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. So yeah, I do really still want to see that movie. I want to get the Lego set too, but I feel like the Lego set's massively overpriced. It's like $90 for a like 700-piece set, and that's just too much. That they need to put that on sale because I really would like to get that set, but not at that price. That price just is like a deal breaker for me. But the pins were nice. Again, limited edition 750. Not a ton of these out there. And you know, I mean, the movie didn't like break box office records, so I suppose somewhat limited in attraction, but I'm there for it, and I'm there for these. Staying with D23, we're looking at another pin that I think came out on the same day as the Marvel's pins, or maybe shortly after, and that is the Ahsoka Tano 15 years Clone War anniversary pin. This one is also a D23 limited edition pin. Limited edition of 1500, so a little bit bigger edition on this one. And yeah, celebrating 15 years of Clone Wars. I'm assuming they're not including then the original 2D animated The Clone Wars, because that came out when I still worked at KB Toys, I believe, and that was definitely more than 15 years ago. So I can assume this only refers to the 3D animated version of the show. But we do have Ahsoka as she appeared in the beginning of Clone Wars, and Ahsoka in her older, more mature, more modern lightsaber form. And again, fairly straightforward pin, no pin-on-pin action, but it's a little bit larger than I thought it would be, and it's nicely detailed, but still it's just kind of a straightforward pin. Says, I don't know, there's like 2 dots, and then there's like 2 dots and a dash. Is it Morse code? First I thought it said like 06 or something, but I don't know what that means. It's that was the Arabesh, something like that. I'm guessing though it symbolizes maybe her age. Maybe that's how her age at the beginning, and that's her age now. I don't know. But it's a nice pin. I'm definitely glad we picked it up. And yeah, nothing else really to say about that. Moving away from D23 and on to the holidays. Of course, a little over a week ago, we had in the US Thanksgiving, and for that they released a Thanksgiving pin. They've been releasing a lot of things in these envelopes recently, which is great, except for then ship them in like a plastic mailer, and it's absolute gamble. Or they put it in a box, a big box with like no padding. And again, absolute gambles to how they arrive. Hence the D23 stuff came in like a padded envelope, didn't come in a box, because D23 stuff tends to come from a different place. But straightforward Disney stuff, limited release pin of Thanksgiving 2023 Lilo and Stitch pin. Double pin back. Shows Stitch's chosen family for Thanksgiving, because that's what Thanksgiving is supposedly about. It's about family. It's not about the gateway to the shopping season, even though it really is. And again, kind of like our D23 pins, it's fairly straightforward. There's no pin on pin here. It's just a nice pin, nicely detailed. I don't remember his name. He's like in like, what, 5 minutes of the movie? I don't remember his name, but I don't remember her name either. I don't remember the sister's name. I just remember Lilo and Stitch. It's kind of hard to forget Lilo and Stitch. It's in the title of the film. But it's a nice little Thanksgiving pin. Sadly released too close to Thanksgiving to actually arrive in time for Thanksgiving. This arrived, I think last Friday? I think the only pins that have been here longer than a week now are those 2 D23 ones. They arrived, I think, the middle of last week. Everything else has arrived this week, like from Friday onwards last week. But yeah, it's here now. I mean, of course, we'll never have 2023 again, but it still goes in the collection, and that's nice. And keeping in the holiday spirit, we move on to our next pin, which is in a completely sealed bag. So I haven't actually taken a good look at it, and I don't think this comes open. I think I need to cut this. So yeah, the other one was resealable. This one does not seem to be resealable. It just seems like it's sealed. So let's, and of course I still need to replace the blade in that box cutter because it is legitimately from KB Toys and therefore almost 2 decades old at least. Was that enough to get it? Yeah, that was enough to get into it. So that's good. So yeah, we have another holiday pin, but this time it is the Wookiee holiday of Life Day. They did release a few things for Life Day 2023. I already picked up the Life Day plush actually a couple weeks back at the Disney outlet when we went there. That's in another video. But yeah, we picked up the Life Day 2023 pin, which shows Wookiees with Life Day orbs. I have a Life Day orb from last year too. So I didn't see if there's ones available this year or not. I still think last year's were just the years before with 2022 stickers stuck on them. So I would assume if there are ones from this year, they're just the same leftovers from last year with 2023 stuck to them. It's kind of a nifty, like little, almost like 50s look to it to me. It looks it's a very retro look to me. I think maybe just because it's like, I guess snowflakes or possibly leaves, or it could be stars, sparkles. Just, this all looks very, very 50s retro future kind of a look. The font too. Yeah, got a family of Wookiees observing Life Day. What more could you ask for in a Life Day pin? We are going big again for our next pin. It's another holiday pin. This one my wife picked out, and I haven't actually looked at it yet. It's stayed sealed, so we could all look at it together. But it's another Christmas pin. This one I believe is the holiday countdown pin. Yes. Yeah, this is one that she liked and ordered. And it is, of course, similar in what's not style, similar in concept to my Horned King Halloween countdown pin. I'm not using this in the Advent calendar videos. That turned out to be, didn't turn out the way I was hoping it would for the Halloween countdown, so we just won't do that again. But it's very much the modern version of Mickey and Minnie and Goofy, the kind of runaway railway versions, the version you see on those new Disney Plus animated shorts. But it's a big old snow globe that counts down to Christmas. So, if you need a countdown pin for Christmas, you could certainly do worse. It's got snow in it. It's I don't know. The new versions of Mickey and Minnie are growing on me, but I definitely have a preference for the ones I grew up with, or even going back into probably the 70s and 60s, because I watched a lot of those cartoons when I was a kid, and Mickey kind of had that look for a long time there, and we've now gone to this very kind of modern, ultra exaggerated look, but it's a very nice pin. Is it taped shut? It is taped shut. Yeah, I'm not going to open it. I'm going to leave it sealed shut. I was going to take it out, take a look at it, see like how many pin backs there are and stuff, but it is actually taped shut. So I'm going to wait and see if my wife wants to open it up or not. I'm going to leave it sealed, but it's a nice, big, nice, huge. It's pin-wise, I think it's probably the largest actual single pin, if not the largest presentation, because the Marvels just has that humongous card on it. And combined, those are definitely more pin in that set than there is in this. But as far as an individual pin, I think this is our biggest one today. We are over halfway home now. Actually, we've been over halfway home for a couple pins now. We are moving on from the holidays to Mickey's 95th birthday. Now, we all know, another 5 years, the big focus for that year's promotional, the continuity collection, will be Mickey's 100th. And I'm sure we'll see some fantastic stuff then. But for 95, which I think is still pretty significant birthday, we didn't get a whole lot. We got some pins. We got a very nice looking piece of wall art, which we did not order because there's only so much wall space in a house. It's nice, I just don't have nowhere to put it. Because it is Sorcerer Mickey, which if you watch my channel, you know that is absolutely one of my Disney weaknesses. But we did order this pin, which of course they have put the tag. I think it's the only one that had the tag directly in front of the pin on, isn't it? So I shouldn't complain too loudly about that, even though we've had them in other bags. This one arrived in decent condition. I think it arrived in a box. I think it and the next pin were in a box by themselves, a big, huge box. Way too big, insufficient packaging, but they still made it okay. And it is for Walt Disney Day. It is Walt Disney Day 2023. It's Mickey painting Walt. I really actually like the style of this one because it's kind of more of the, not classic, not like Steamboat Willie Mickey or anything, but it's more of the Mickey that I'm used to. It's not gonna lay flat. We'll just do like that. At least it's not glaring. It's more of that kind of classic, more, to me at least, traditional Mickey. But I like that they actually don't have like the photo of Walt on there. It's not, they didn't cartoonize him. We actually got a nice picture of Walt, and there's actually a nice texture on it. It almost gives it like there's like a rougher texture, almost like a painted texture on it compared to the smoothness of the rest of the pin. Mickey's eyes do seem a little off though, don't they? But it's a nice pin, and for Walt Disney Day and for Mickey's 95th birthday, I thought it was definitely a nice one to add to our collection. It's double pin back, and I don't know if it's still available or not. It's limited release, which just means they can make as many as they want for whatever amount of time they want, because as I've said in other videos, all pins are limited release. They only make so many of them, and then they stop. They don't make them forever and ever, so everything's limited. Nothing is infinite. Infinity does not exist. All right, we have 2 more pins. Let's move on to our last big pin. It's another one that is for the Mickey's 95th birthday release. And this is one I think I was going to give this a pass, but my wife wanted to get it, so she ordered it. There's another one of these pins coming too, but it was a D23 pin, so it is not here yet. We'll look at that in a future pin video. But this is also for Mickey's 95th anniversary. And it is this one here. And you see why, it's not taped. I can open it up and look at it. You can see why I definitely would have been tempted by it. It's got Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey right there in the center. Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey is my favorite Mickey. But we do also have Steamboat Willie. We have Band Leader. And then we have a couple versions of Minnie up top there just to keep him company. And this is the big, it's got all things, we can pull it up, we can look at the back of it. It's also got the hat from Brave Little Tailor, and what is that? Is that the hat from Through the Looking Glass? We have Minnie's hat up there. That might be the Through the Looking Glass hat before it poofs up. This one's a triple pin back because it's huge. And oh heck, since I've got it out, let's actually take it off the board and look at the back of it. See if there's anything special there. Probably not. It's all Mickey'd. It's got the little Mickey gemstone thing there. Limited release. Mickey Mouse. Yeah, nothing particularly special back there. You can see the connection points for all the different elements, because that is up to 3 layers of pin, because the hat there, the Brave Little Tailor hat, is a 3rd layer all unto itself. Put this back on here without damaging anything. I mean, yeah, I could do that off camera. I could do that not recording it, but why would I want to do that? That might make this video more of a reasonable length, and I don't do reasonable length videos. My videos are always way longer than they need to be, which is probably why I have such a small subscriber count. Well, that, and I mean, who wants to watch this? All right. So yeah, we have our special Mickey 90th anniversary pin. This will become more relevant in 5 years when we have an, I'm sure, even more special Mickey 100th anniversary pin. So we'll just go ahead and seal that away for them. Yeah, 95 Magical Years. They didn't do a lot of stuff for it. I kind of would have thought 95 years of Mickey would have been something more significant. See, if they'd started Decades back in January, it would have ended in October, and then for November they could have done more focus on Mickey's 95th, but for whatever reason, they didn't do that. So all we get is some pins and some artwork. And finally, the thing we've all been waiting for, if nothing else, just for the series to end, we have the final entry in the Disney Decades pin collection. The final slot on the board will be filled with this. So yeah, the series has not had any level of like continuity between stuff other than the fact they've all been Disney. This is the only pin in the set that is not like a normal Disney release. But it's certainly an interesting pin, if nothing else. We do have here a pin of the original Avengers movie, and they've taped this one shut. Why have they done that? Because there's words in there. We have to read the words. And I have to take it off because it has to go on the pin board, so we're going to cut that tape anyways. I mean, there's not been two pins done the same way in this entire collection. I don't know why it should surprise me that for some reason they choose to tape this one shut. It's not looking necessarily any thicker than all the others have been. Oh, the pin backs. Hey, you know what? It's a Marvel pin that has a Mickey pin back. I feel like I've complained numerous times about my puzzlement as to why Marvel pins don't have Mickey pin, because it does say Marvel pin on it. It's not a Disney pin, it's a Marvel pin, but it has Mickey pin backs. I think that's the first time I've had a Marvel pin with Mickey pin backs on it. That's interesting, because they're all, Disney trading pins. It says Disney pins on the back, Marvel, Disney 100. There's a little gem Mickey. But the thing is, so they've done like the photo thing like they did with the Waltz picture, except for Iron Man. Iron Man got cartoonized. I wonder if behind him, if it's just like the normal Iron Man from the poster, or if there's like a blank spot there. Because it seems like it would almost be more trouble to like leave a cutout there than it would be just to have the actual poster. Yeah, it's the movie poster from the Avengers. It's the only one that's not a like strict Disney character. I know, I think Roger Rabbit, I think, was actually released under Touchstone, and therefore also debatably not a strictly speaking Disney character, which I think is why he's not in. There's a Disney Adventures game that was released back for the Kinect. They released a non-Kinect version of it as well, I think, for the Xbox One. But I think the Kinect version, was for the original, the 360, for the original Kinect. And it was a really nice recreation of Disneyland at the time it was made. Like, you could walk around the whole park just like the real park. But the thing is, when you got to things that were licensed, things that weren't original Disney IPs, they were just not there. Like, there was the front of the queue for the Indiana Jones ride, but there was no ride there. There was the building for Roger Rabbit's, Taxi Cab Spin or whatever that is. The building is there, but the ride is not. It's just like a blank building. So I know Roger Rabbit's not technically speaking like a strictly Disney character either. So it's not really the only non-straight Disney. But it's kind of jarring, and also I'm a little surprised they went with Avengers, not Star Wars. I know Star Wars got the backpack, but I'm surprised we didn't get like a Star Wars pin, or maybe a multi-pack of pins like we did with the Pixar one from the previous collection, showing more of their acquisitions from the 2010s. Not the last 10 years, we're like halfway through the 2020s now, but from the 2010s. But there's words here. Let's read the word. I'm not going to read those words. Those are like the same words that are on all of these that have words. But we'll read this one. The Avengers 2012. Premiering on May 4th, 2012. The Avengers united Earth's mightiest superheroes in the face of imminent danger. When Loki, Thor's evil brother and god of mischief, gets a hold of the Space Stone, it's up to Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., to create a superhero initiative. Among this group is Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, Thor, the Black Widow, and Hawkeye. The mission? They must learn how to team up to defeat Loki's efforts to conquer Earth. The Avengers received a nomination for an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. I never realized that it was released on Star Wars Day. That's a weird choice. They released the Avengers on Star Wars Day. But okay, but they did. All right. Ooh, this looks like I guess maybe they taped it shut because it is a fairly heavy pin for just two pin backs, and it looks like it's damaged the card pretty badly in shipping. The card itself is not in the best of condition either. It was not shipped super well. I think in a box all by itself, just rattling around in there, which means the pin is just as it ships around, just jostling around, just tearing up that card. It arrived in non-mint condition, but oh well. I suppose maybe if next time we make it down to the Disney outlet, which I can't imagine would be till sometime next year, if they have more, then maybe I'll pick up one in better condition. But this is good for now. It's not a bad pin. It's not my favorite on there. It's the style of it is jarring, but again, there's no real style to this collection, so that really shouldn't surprise me. But you know, let's get it up. Let's put it on the board, and we'll finish our Disney Decades collection. So we'll just nudge that in right there. Look, I actually left the space like perfect for it. That's nice. I didn't know what that last pin was going to be like. I didn't know if it was going to be a multi-pack like that and have to rearrange things, but no. All 10 months of it now fit on there perfectly. Maybe I need to lower it a little bit. It's a little, I think it's maybe crowding Disney Afternoon just a bit, or maybe Disney Afternoon can go up a little. I might still rearrange the board a little bit, but essentially, for all intents and purposes, it's done. We've completed another collection, or at least as much of it as we intend to complete. Yeah, we definitely did not go completionist this time, other than on the pins. Because frankly, Decades I don't think was that great of a collection. It wasn't what it could have been. It wasn't what it should have been. It wasn't for a 100-year celebration. So it's really, really a humongous deal. It was kind of disappointing. Sorry about that rustling noise there. I was putting this back into its little baggie because that actually is going to stay up on the board, at least until we get sick of the board and put it away, and then all those pins will go back in their own little individual packets. But now that it is complete, I suppose I should pick favorites and least favorites. My overall least favorite is definitely the Pixar collection there. Because again, divorced from the card they're on, and I said this last month in a video where we looked at the pins when they came in and added them to the board, divorced from the backing, the color schemes don't make sense. You lose the concept art they were trying to show you on the backing card. It doesn't, they don't look good divorced from that context, and it makes Boo and Edna look like corpses. So that's easily my least favorite. A second least favorite, that's a little harder. I mean, the rest of them are all pretty good. I mean, Avengers is kind of in a running for second least favorite, just because I like it and I really want to like it, but you have like this kind of cartoon Iron Man on there, and you're looking at it from a distance in greater context, that cartoony Iron Man really stands out against the photograph of everybody else, which makes it a really odd choice. It's like, here's the Avengers and here's like great value Iron Man on the front, and that's not really working. So I guess second least favorite probably is the Avengers. I really want to like the Avengers, but I just can't. I don't dislike it. I don't dislike any of them, but I mean, Avengers is definitely, I mean, something has to be on the bottom, and Avengers is probably it. Favorites. You know, I mean, I really like Disney Afternoon because, I mean, that's, I was like in middle school and like high school when, mostly middle school. I remember coming home after school in middle school to watch Disney Afternoon. I never got to watch Gummy Bears because that came on like at 3 o'clock and we got out of school at like 2:50. So I almost never made it home in time to see Gummy Bears. But I remember watching the rest of them, and it was, I mean, I watched Gummy Bears, I think, back when it was on the 80s on, I think, ABC or NBC? I think NBC. I remember watching them like in their original release as a even younger child, but I never got to see it on Disney Afternoon. So Disney Afternoon is definitely up there. The Wonderful World of Color, not because I have any necessarily affinity for Wonderful World of Color, that's definitely before my time, but I like that it has Ludwig von Drake. I like the, I wish that panel was a little tighter so it stayed in place better, but I like the fact that you can do that and combine the colors. It's like, it makes it a little dark to really, I think, get the full effect of it. But I like the form of that one. I like that, that they just did kind of a unique thing with it. Let's see, what else do I like? I like Steamboat Willie. I like that it could be converted to a stand-up. And I really honestly kind of wish that they had done a series like that of stand-up pins. I mean, I guess it'd be kind of similar to the fig pins that were popular for 2 or 3 years. Those are gone now, aren't they? I haven't seen fig pins in a while. I only have a couple. I have, of course, Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey. But yeah, the fig pin thing, I guess it's they kind of stood up like that. They didn't have like a fold-down base, but they were meant to stand up. So it kind of makes me think a little bit of fig pins. But I would love to see a series done of these pins that can stand up on their own. So yeah, those are probably my top 3 in no particular order. Although I do also like the Scrooge McDuck, because again, I like the form factor. I like this. I wish the hinge was tighter so it didn't like come open. But I like the fact we have Scrooge's Money Bank or Money Vault. We have classic Scrooge and like modern DuckTales Scrooge with his first dime and everything. Again, I like the form of that one. I like some of the things they did on these. In some ways, I complain about no 2 months being the same. But in some ways, I kind of like that as well, just because they did some different things you don't see too often on pins. I think actually this one can probably stand up on its own as well, because it's got a flat base. But I mean, I don't feel like they like signify the decade they're from or anything. And I think that's maybe would have been important in a decades thing. But I think also, they tried some interesting stuff with the Decade series. They did the toys for like the first 3 months and then just abandoned it completely. And that's kind of a shame. I mean, it's not a shame that the toys really weren't very good to begin with. I mean, the Steamboat Willie one was nice. The Mr. Toad and Headless Horseman look interesting. But like the Peter Pan one, that's something I would expect to find at World of Disney for like $40, maybe 30 to $40. It was just a plastic pirate ship. It wasn't great. But I mean, I would have liked to have seen what they would have done with toys from like the 70s, 80s, 90s. But I feel like even they realized that those were not great items, and they just abandoned it after like month 3. I think the last ones that came out were Headless Horseman and Mr. Toad, and they were like a stealth release like 2 weeks after that month's Decades release. They just kind of dropped them without any fanfare at all. But yeah, I do think Decades has probably been the second most disappointing collection since I started doing these continuity collections in 2017 technically, with the Disney Store pins. But yeah, the Decades is like the second most disappointing, the most disappointing being Stitch Crashes Disney, which I didn't buy anything from at all. But still, the pins are nice. They do look nice on the board. I am disappointed that we never got more Disney 100 pins to put on the back of the board. They had those really nice like silver element pins back in like January and February, and then those dried up as well. There's so many Disney characters that never got released. I don't know if those pins didn't sell well because they sold out online or what happened, but yeah, they just kind of dropped that. I haven't seen a lot of Disney 100 pins, at least not on Shop Disney. Maybe in the parks, but we didn't make it to the park this year. Maybe in the parks and a bunch of stuff. Maybe we'll see next year when we make our next trek down to the outlet. Maybe they'll have some Disney 100 park pins that didn't sell, and I can get some then. But who knows? But then we may put the board away. I don't know how long it'll stay up now that the collection is complete. But at least for now, for this moment, commemorated for as long as YouTube leaves the video up on YouTube, on video, for anybody to watch, there is the complete Disney Decades pin collection. And that's going to wrap it. This video's gone on way too long, but it's like, so we had a lot of pins. We had a lot of pins. So let me know, which ones are your favorites? What do you like here? Do you like our D23 stuff? You like our holiday stuff? You like our 95th Mickey stuff? Let me know which pins you like. What do you think of the Decades collection now that it's complete? What are your favorite moments? What are your least favorite moments? I am genuinely interested. I can't guarantee I'll respond to you, but I'll give it a thumbs up. I'm really weird about just responding to people, but I definitely will read your comment if you post one. But yeah, let me know what pins are your favorite, what months were your favorite, what are your overall opinions of Disney Decades. And that will wrap this up. Don't forget, every day this month, or at least up through the 25th, we will have a video for Adventures Assemble, which is our yearly Advent calendar video series. And otherwise, there'll be usual like weekend magics and Sunday videos on top of those. But if you found this video at all interesting or entertaining, I suppose if you stayed to this point, you must have found something of value here. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.